Hello, can anyone hear us on the webinar now? We hope we have audio or sound for you. Yes, 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 welcome. Well, thank you everyone for your patience. We apologize for the delay. I'm Leah Carr. I'm here helping Vivian Mahoney today. Of course, you've observed we've had some challenges, so I'm going to introduce with Vivian to you. Many of you know her. She's a pioneer in our industry. She was the individual responsible for first billing massage through insurance companies for reimbursement in the United States, and she's been leading the way and teaching us all how to do it with the least amount of effort and the best results for many years. She's been a licensed practitioner, had very successful practices in Florida, and now lives in the beautiful area of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And I actually have her on the line. We've modified and leaped the hurdles through numerous challenges today to bring this webinar. So we're just really happy that you're here with us. And I'm going to turn it over to Vivian after just a couple of things. You've probably read the one screen about the goal and intention of today's call is to answer some of the common questions or ones that frequently arise from massage therapists interested in or who currently bill insurance. This call will last about an hour, so naturally it's not one that we're going to cover all the details or the how-to, but a lot of questions come up that Vivian's answered multiple times one-on-one, and so now it's just an opportunity for her to answer on a larger scale. To many of you, thank you to all of you who submitted your questions. That's a big help, and you can continue to submit questions to her for future webinars. And we hope that you'll stay till the end because she has several bonus items that I think you're going to really enjoy and appreciate and can get a lot out of to help you to continue to grow and to succeed. So, Vivian, if you're on your particular screen of the presentation, go to the one and you can talk to them and go to the Google Docs and you can tell them about the one you wanted to discuss about you can make money or make excuses.
Well, I don't really.
To you, Vivian. So go ahead. The webinar is all yours.
Oh my God! Hi everybody. Please, please, please forgive us for this delay and all the problems we had getting the links to you. I promise we'll make it up with answers to every question. If it doesn't get answered today, I promise you will get it from me in an email directly where I know it'll get to you. So just take a deep breath. I've been doing that for hours and hours and all night long last night. So thank you again for being here. I hope that we can make up for what's happened. Anyway, I don't want to say you can make money or make excuses. What I want to say is you can make money your way working with insurance and doctor referrals than if you take other people's excuses to heart. So make money the right way, the easy way, working with insurance the way I teach you, and not listen to all the flack out there of everybody's being disgusted with insurance. I guarantee you they started out either not doing it right, and I'm going to try to cover some of these things to help you do it the right way. We'll go through some of these slides and I'll pick up some of the ideas and thoughts, and I'll make sure every question is answered that I possibly can squeeze in today. All right, there's different types of insurance. Can a massage therapist bill insurance and what types? I'm going to tell you right now, one of the biggest problems that massage therapists have in this whole industry is they all want to get into the health insurance and they want to get into networks and they want to figure out what network they can get in, what insurance company should they deal with. And I hear this all the time, and it's the biggest problem they have. Clear your mind of every now and just listen to what I tell you to make it easy for you. Forget about health insurance. There's as many different health insurance policies as there are people. And for you just getting started, or even if you've been doing this for a while and you're trying to work with health insurance, I will explain to you how you can do it, but you up front. If you're auto insurance, workers' compensation, or Department of Labor, as some states call it, but if you continue to work with those kinds, slip and fall, homeowners insurance, if someone is injured at somebody's home, let's say you have homeowners insurance and someone comes to visit you and they get injured at your house, your homeowners insurance would pay. It's usually up to $5,000. of medical. If you have a client that comes in and they've went to a Ford dealership, let's say, I'll give you examples because these all happen in my office, and they slip and fall in the service department on oil. Now the insurance company for the dealership would have coverage. I slipped and fell. I was at a workers' compensation educational conference, and I was at a Marriott Resort Residence Inn, and I fell down the stairs, and I was injured. The hotel paid for services up to $5,000. So that's an avenue a lot of people are not aware of. There's flex spending accounts. That type of insurance, or coverage, I should say, will pay. It's not insurance, but that will pay. So take away the health insurance equation, stick with the injury type cases and your flex spending accounts, and you're going to be a lot better off. Again, these are types of insurance I just mentioned, health, workers' comp, and auto, and I just mentioned the others that are available. And I hope that answered a lot of questions right off the bat. Okay? Do not deal with insurance companies individually. Don't call them and ask them to be in their network, because the only state that allows them in the network is the state of Washington, and they're having all kinds of problems because they can be in network, because a lot of networks are closed. Don't let them in. So if you do end up with a health insurance policy and it does pay you, you'll be paid out of network, which is better off anyway. So to bill insurance, you need the right tools, the right equipment, and you saw what just happened to us. We should have been working on this a month ago. We were working on it. I've been working on it for about a week ago. Leah's been working on it for 2 days with me. The most important thing is to have everything in order when you start. So when a patient walks in the door, you don't have to worry about what papers you need, what files, what folders you need, and all of this stuff. There's the tools of the trade, from your computer to your fax to your forms and everything. Have it together in the beginning. And as I said, this is not teaching an insurance course. Today we're giving you the highlights, the overview, okay? So again, what's covered, I just mentioned all of the things that are covered. And then there's you're dealing with codes. And another question I get asked a lot is, I don't know the new codes. First of all, the CPT codes have not changed in a few years. So what's in my manual, if you have my manual, those are current. If you've been using them and other people have told you what to use, you need to know exactly what to use. And I'm going to make this simple. If you're a massage therapist and you have been trained to do anything other than just basic Swedish massage, and you document it properly and you bill it properly, your code to use is 97140, which covers myofascial release, which is the term you will use when you do your documentation. There's more on coding and how to bill it, but I'm not going into all of that now. But stick with the code 97140 for myofascial release manual therapy techniques, unless all you know is basic Swedish massage that you learned in massage school. Then you better stick to 97124, okay? Changes occur in codes as a major changes from the ICD-9 to ICD-10. You need to stay up to date and receive your updates from reliable sources. And I'll tell you right now, again, when people say, well, I need the new codes because they've been changed. The ICD-9 codes were diagnostic codes. They have to come from the physician. You don't need to know them. All you need to do is make sure the prescription states on it what the service is that the doctor wants you to provide. What's the diagnosis? What's the ICD-10 code, which was changed on October 1st of 2010. ICD-9, which is International Classification of Diseases, number 9 to number 10. That's a whole new ball of wax. I have a new prescription form that I created, and I took off all of the ICD-9 codes because there's so many varied codes for a single individual diagnosis. So therefore, we can't come up with that. We're not allowed to. It's out of our scope of practice. It has to come from the physician. So when the physician sends you the script, if it doesn't have it on it, politely, diplomatically send it back and ask them to please give you the diagnosis code for proper billing. Does that take care of all of those code situations as far as the new ones and the main code to use? Let me tell you, there's a heavy cost of not staying up to date on coding changes, and I do keep you up to date. On my website, there's all of the information on the ICD-10 code so that you can, just because it's the doctor's job to give you that code doesn't mean that we have to be blind and not understand what the codes are about and a general idea of what they're for. So go on to my website later on and another time and date and look for the ICD-10. It's under the same code you would go for your NPI, the same name, I can never remember, NUCCE or whatever. But anyway, look that over. Keep it handy for when you do bill and relate to that, because it gives you every detail about how to fill out your new claim forms, which I say new, but they were actually available before the ICD-10 became available in October of 2015. The rates, insurance billing is a privilege. You risk losing if you overcharge. I'm not going to get into, I'm not legally allowed to give you fees and tell you what you can or can't charge. Each code has a fee associated with it in 15-minute increments of time. Always remember 1 unit is 15 minutes. You bill in units. So if you are billing for, let's say the doctor writes cervical sprain and strain, and you work 15 minutes in the area, and then you have to work another 15 minutes, now you've worked 30 minutes. And the script goes on to say lumbar sacral sprain and strain, or whatever the doctor writes. That's another 15 to 30 minutes depending on. Do not get into the 8-minute rule that a lot of, it's for Medicare basically, and physical therapists use it. We go by the American Medical Association AMA CPT code book, and each of these codes are for 15-minute increments. Save you a lot of headache trying to figure out those 8-minute rules. So while people can charge at the top of the fee scale, it raises alerts and insurance companies start questioning, and that draws them to you and causes them to look at you and look at other things, and then there may be something else in your billing that was possibly incorrect, and only because of your high fee schedule will they look at your claim in the first place. So I'm not telling you what to charge, I'm just telling you to watch out. Don't be charging way extra or higher than you do for your time of service fees. And while I'm on that subject, don't ever use the term insurance versus cash. It's time of service. That's the time the patient walked in the door, took off their clothes, got on the table, got a massage, paid you, and left, period. That's a time of service. And the fee would be whatever you charge for that. The fee for the medically prescribed, or as sometimes is referred to as standard and related, and a lot of people will tell you you can't charge extra fees or higher fees because it's insurance. You're not charging extra fees because it's insurance. You are charging for the type of service you provide. The type of service, somebody comes in, gets on the table, gets a massage, pays, and leaves, is one type of service. When you're in the medical industry or the medical field, working with prescribed treatment, the doctor writes a script, you have to accept the script, you have to make sure the prescriptions stay updated, you have to have, you're doing documentation, you're contacting the doctor, you're contacting the attorneys, you're contacting the insurance companies. I describe it in my classes like this. Picture a big ball of yarn and all of the different color strips of yarn. They're all different colors and it's all intertwined. Pick out, let's say, the red one. The red one would be the possibility of losing money because the insurance company didn't pay you, or they didn't pay you timely, and that's usually because you didn't bill it correctly in the first place. Then you got a yellow one, and maybe that's the prescription from the physician, and you have to work with that. Then you got another one that's dealing with calling the insurance company to verify coverage. If it's workers' compensation, you're calling the insurance company to obtain authorization. So each one of these different colors represents a different cost of doing business, and it adds up a lot more time and money than somebody just coming in for a time of service treatment. And I hope it makes sense. And that's where we covered the prescribed versus non-prescribed, time of service and cost of doing business. Fee splitting. Somebody asked a question about splitting fees. Can you do that? Fee splitting is absolutely legal when you're working in the medical field. You cannot split fees, and I will explain that a little more. Let's say the doctor has a workers' compensation case. In almost every single state, there's a workers' compensation fee schedule, and that's the max they'll pay. That doesn't mean that that's the max you're going to charge if you charge higher than that for your other cases. But you can't charge higher because it's auto, and then another one a little less because it's workers' comp. Your fee has to be straight across the board for your medically prescribed fees. Let's say you have a 15-minute unit and your fee is $38 for each 15 minutes. That doesn't raise red flags, and it's usually payable and acceptable, and it's within the Medicare fee schedule and all that. And again, I'm not telling you what you can charge. I'm giving you suggestions. If your fee is, say, $38 for 15 minutes or $110 for the total hour, however you want to figure it, and you're working for a chiropractor and he says, okay, I'm going to give you a percentage. So he gives you a percentage of what workers' comp pays, that's one fee. He gives you a percentage of what auto pays, that's one fee. He gives you a percentage of what health care pays, which is sometimes nothing. And that's what you're going to get a percentage of, nothing. You make a contract with him. You have an independent contractor agreement, if you're an independent contractor, and you have that set in advance before you go to work for them, and it's agreeable to both of you, and there's a fee that you set per each 15 minutes, or you set the fee per session that you provide. You figure that out with them, but then you're paid exactly the same for every session, every 15 minutes, or every period of time or type of service, no matter what it is. But if the doctor says, well, I'm going to give you 40%, that's fee splitting. And so don't do it, okay? And as I teach classes, either in person or later on, maybe on webinars, we can keep these things working right, I will we go into more of that. And so I hope that's clear. Kickbacks. I'll give you an example of a kickback. Or maybe I won't. I can't think right now. Fraud. Florida was wrought with fraud. A lot of it was blamed on massage therapists. It was not massage therapists. I had the good fortune of working with insurance investigative agencies, FBI agents, and I saw what was happening from the inside. And we took I say we because I was a Florida therapist for 33 years, and we took the brunt end of it because the governor wanted us out. And unfortunately, we fought like crazy and got it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court declined to hear from us. Fraud, but I always try to teach you to prevent anybody looking at you even to think you were committing fraud. I'll give you an example. Just yesterday, a therapist called me. She was licensed just a few months after me back in 1985. I was licensed in 84. She has a case for USSA auto insurance that they're taking her to court, and they said she was committing fraud because she billed a certain code that we'd been using for years because the insurance adjusters told us to use it. It was the only code available. Then they also was on her case for splitting, for the fees, for charging higher for her insurance than she was for her cash. So remember what I said before, do not use the term insurance versus cash. You're using two types of services. Don't forget that. That's a main key in working in this business. So I try to help you prevent anything that would look like fraud to an insurance company. And that would be from overcharging to not doing your documentation properly to, this brings to my mind right now one of the questions that was asked, can we bill under the doctor's NPI number? Absolutely not. You cannot bill under the doctor's NPI number. Everyone who works on a patient should have their own NPI number. You get that from Google, go to google.com and then type in NPI application, follow the instructions. When it gets to a section that asks for your taxonomy number, that's the type of provider you are. In this case, massage therapist or whatever other type of provider you are that might be listening. Then you would scroll down under rehab, restoration, and there's another R and something about developmental. And that's the only way you're going to find the massage therapist code. Just scroll down, you'll see massage therapist, there'll be a code there. It ends in a couple of X's. So that's how you get that. But at any rate, I'm losing my train of thought again. So anyway, documentation. What do you need for documentation? Leah, did you want to say something there, honey?
No, I'm having to juggle between two different computers. One's froze, and I'm trying to avoid any feedback reverberation. So you may hear a double sound for just a second, so I can get the screens changed.
Oh, that's okay. So in documentation, what do you need? First of all, you need folders to set up your documentation folders properly, so that when somebody comes in, it's a workers' compensation case, you've got the right forms in the folders right there. You don't have to go fiddling around trying to figure out where you're going to get the forms and what kind of forms you need. You set them up in advance, and my manual explains exactly how to do that. Then the forms, there's the patient forms, intake forms, the billing files, the documentation files, the intake forms. Some of them require signatures. There's a patient-client interview. All of these different things, there's like about 20-some forms or more for different situations that are on a CD that I have. And I'll just give you this quick up front. That CD is $48 on my website, including shipping and handling. There's a special we'll show you later on about that, where you can get that for $20 and how you can get it for that. But anyway, all of your forms and things have got to be in order before you see the client the first time. And if you don't think that's important, just I want to say, see what we went through trying to get this all together was a nightmare. We just covered all of this. I guess I'm going backwards. That's nothing new for me. Okay, the prescription. I don't think we have that pictured in here. The prescription referral form that comes from the physician. You can go to my website, massageinsurancebilling.com, and download it for free. It's go to the PDF one temporarily. I have to download the new one that I did for Microsoft Word. And I will explain real quickly right here, the reason you want it in Microsoft Word in the long run is so that you can put your name, your license number, and your phone number on the referred to line. And if it's on the referred to line, and then you make prescription pads, this is a good way to promote to physicians. And you have the prescription pad in order, and you have indicated on that form under modalities and procedures, what modalities and procedures that you personally can use that's in your state scope of practice and licensing. Then let's say you want to bill for 97140, like I mentioned, you would make sure there's an X mark in that box, 97140, manual therapy techniques. Like I said, it includes myofascial release. And if you do hot and cold packs, put a check mark by that. And in the bottom right-hand corner, it says other. I think the new form I just put in there might say initial evaluation or initial assessment, and then you can put a check mark by that. If the check marks are by it and the physician has signed it, that's him giving you the authorization. In all of my years, 16 years of billing insurance, I had one doctor one time mark off, we had a full immersion hydrotherapy tab, and he put a check mark across he marked across it for me not to do that. Now, I don't know if it was because he didn't want me to raise his electric bill, his water bill using the water and electric, or he just thought the patient didn't need it. However, he was my landlord, so he should have been glad that I was doing that extra to make money to pay my overhead. But anyway, that's what I'm saying is the doctors will usually just go along with what you put there. And if you have to call a doctor for information, you're not dealing with a physician anyway. You're dealing with his PA or someone at the office. And if you have to have a prescription, let's say a doctor sends you a prescription and it says evaluate and treat. Do not accept that because it's not in our scope of practice to do a official evaluation. We're basically calling it assessment because in order to treat a medically needy patient, you have to know exactly what you're doing. You have to know the contraindications and all that information. You have to make notes so that you can send them to the insurance company and give an overview of what the patient states and what your observations are and the assessment of what you actually did to the patient. All of that has to be done. So make sure that, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, give me a break. Let's see, I'll come up here. So anyway, that prescription form is on there, and we'll go into more. I'm sure we'll be doing another webinar, and I hope you'll join us again, and we'll have things a lot more orderly. I love this program. It's just that it takes learning. And let me tell you something. The learning curve that we just had trying to learn this and still learning it helps me to understand even more where you're coming from. How when somebody just throws something at you and said, here it is, try to learn it and do it and try to make money from it, it's difficult. So I'm here to hold your hand. And it took me after our accident that many of you know about. Whoa, it's taken me 3.5 years to even want to come back and deal with this kind of stuff. But I'm ready. I'm ready to hold your hand. I'm ready to help you. And I thought I would never be able to say that again. Okay, on the claim forms, the 1,500 insurance billing claim forms, you cannot find them on the internet where you don't have to pay for them. If you do, please let me know because I have to pay for these as well. And I'd like to not have to deal with it. But anyway, you have to use the original red claim forms. All right, they're available on my website in packs of 50 or packs of 25. And documentation, the CD in digital format. I'm going to read this because I don't remember what we wrote. The CD, or you can get it on my website with all the patient forms that are necessary. And I want to tell you that we use these forms, and I created them back in 1985. Insurance companies, lawyers, different people in the industry, doctors, all said they couldn't believe how organized the massage therapists were when they were using these forms. They were so happy to be able to read it and understand what was in the documents that was being sent to the insurance company, to the lawyers. And I always tell therapists, when you have a new patient, sit down with them and help them fill out that paperwork up front. That way, number one, you're going to be able to read what they wrote, because if maybe you want to even write it, and as you're asking them the questions, take that time with that patient. Have them come in 30 minutes early. Sit with them and go over everything in the documents that needs to be signed or needs to be gone over. Because if you do that, you are developing a rapport with that patient that will stick with you for as long as the doctor refers them to come in, and hopefully after. I've had in all my years, and I had a lot of therapists come and go because they went on their own way, but in all my years I fired 2 therapists, and both of them were stealing clients left and right. And guess what? They were the 2 that I've considered the most dignified, the most knowledgeable, the best therapists for hands-on work. And they were stealing clients left and right. And the reason for it was because I allowed them to do that initial visit. And the patient developed a rapport with them and not me or my office staff. So I hope that's a lesson that'll stay with you because it's so important. But anyway, all the necessary forms, cost on my website is $48, including shipping and handling. I have a digital format of the manual for the first time ever. You can save $53.95 from the hard copy of the manual. And again, this manual includes anything I can talk about now or I could talk about in the next 6 months. Everything is in there. And what might not be, a certain situation comes up, and that does happen, you can always call me. If I can't find the answer, I will do everything I can to find it. If I can't answer you, I'll do everything I can to find the answer for you. Anyway, this CD in digital format, I can send it to you by email for $20 for those taking the webinar, if they get it with the digital format of the manual. And if you want to wait for me to get back with you on that, we can do something to make it a little more sensible. Lee and I talked about it earlier, and I don't remember all that we said. But anyway, I'll help you. Learn more, earn more. This is the only manual for practice building and insurance billing, complete and precise and honest and up to date, or the updates are available on my website until I can get them included in the manual at a later date. This has been used by thousands and thousands of massage therapists since 1990. I actually wrote the first one in 1989. I taught my first insurance billing class at the Florida State Massage Therapy Association in 1993. The only thing more stressful than that was getting this webinar together. So I've been teaching massage therapists since 1993, billing insurance since 1984. So get the facts straight from the horse's mouth, and that kills me. For those of you who know, when I had the accident, it was a horse that Marie ran into in the wee hours of the morning, and my husband was killed because of that horse. So when I said this horse's mouth, I about croaked, but I'm over it. I'm okay. Listen to others and get in trouble, and don't expect me to right the wrongs that others do for no charge, okay? Because I'm tired of it. I've done it for years. They go to other people, they take their seminars, and then they get in trouble, and then they call me, and I have to clean it up. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm tired. I'm getting old, and I need to make money, just like the therapists need to make money. So please don't take that as an insult. I'm just telling you from past experience, okay? I love y'all, and I appreciate you. You have no idea how much I appreciate you being on this webinar. I don't have a clue how many are here now, but even if there was only one of you, thank you, thank you, thank you for sticking with us here. Advanced training tools. So there's a manual I mentioned that's instant download. It's $59.95. The bonus with the digital manual would, if it's purchased this week or thereabouts, would be only $20 for the CD. I would have to email that to you directly. The hard copy manual is, if you want the hard copy one, it's $111.95, including shipping and handling, and I do have those available. I'm just trying to get away from the packing and shipping. My husband did all of the packing and all the shipping, all the record keeping, and I'm trying to do that all by myself, and I'm trying to get away from some of that if some people don't mind the digital format. And let me tell you, if you get the digital format of something like the manual that's got 393 pages, I think, in it, you can print it out in draft mode. And by the way, in digital format, it's in color. A lot of things are in color. It's not that way in a hard copy. But you can print it out in draft format and cheaper paper and save money that way as well. That'll help you. Contains such items as key to billing success, 9 simple steps to successfully accepting medical referrals. It has all about marketing, and it's all about taxes and terminology. There's like 100 terms for terminology and the explanations for them. All about marketing, advertising, and promotion. And another one of the tools of the trade, and a gentleman from Florida in the Panhandle asked me, hi James, if you're on, he asked me about a program that you can use for billing. This is one I highly recommend. I've worked with the guys for the last 20-some years. I know them well. I know their honesty. I know their integrity. I know their willingness to help you if there's a problem. there's been a little problem in their family for a few months because Steve Krager's father passed away, and he's had a lot to deal with. But bottom line, this company is top-notch. They keep this thing updated. I think they've got it created for Mac. You can do all kinds of documentation, record keeping, create your own certificates, and all of that information's on my website. I don't want to get into an advertising program here, but because people ask certain questions, I'm covering these things that make it easier for you to save time and money in the long run. I told everybody that stayed with me to the end of the webinar, and I'm not going to say to the end because of the problem we had, and it took us almost 30 minutes to get on with you. Everybody that just has attended this webinar today will get this attendee bonus, and it's a special gift to all who stayed with me or come on with me in the first place. It's a prayer that changed my life, taking me to massage and insurance billing with physician referrals, stories of parts of my life that many of you have gone through, and how to overcome and be a success in spite of all the negativity. I will have follow-up chapters on this or follow-up little books after a while. But anyway, I'm not going to go into all of it. It's there. You're getting it for free. All I ask you to do is please don't share with anyone else. It's $9.97 in digital $9.77 in digital format. In hard copy, it's like $27 and something, and that's just me breaking even because I didn't know how expensive it was to create the thing. Anyway, so you'll have that to play with after. Just do me a favor, if you will. Send me reviews because I want to update it even more and put it on Kindle or Amazon. So if you would just send me a review to VivianMahoney@yahoo.com, same place you sent me your questions to. And Leah, do you want to cover this? This is something we're always dreaming up something. And then I'm going to go into the pages and start answering the exact questions that were asked. Okay, Leah, can you cover this?
Which part, Vivian?
The membership club.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the other item that Vivian was announcing today to everyone that's on the webinar, and it's specifically to those that were in attendance or came in on the beginning of the call. And it's a new program she's launching. It's the Massage Insurance Billing Membership Club, because as Vivian said, for all the years she's answered so many questions, often one-on-one or, one call after another, and chained herself to the computer and the telephone. And so as things change, sometimes they change so quickly it's difficult to get the information out to the massage therapist. She's worked with all of the major membership associations, the LMT, AMTA, state organizations, and provided them with updates from time to time. But what she's offering to massage therapists at what I think is an amazing price is to become part of this club, and you get exclusive access to her billing expertise. So it'll be a bi-monthly group call-in. If you can be on the call, that's great. If not, it can be recorded and you can listen in on the call later.
Excuse me, Leah, are we recording this?
Yes, we are.
Thank God.
You can get access in on the call and ask any questions that may have come up during the 2 weeks that you've had in the last over anything related to the insurance billing process, as well as a private Facebook group. And one of the benefits of this is as one person has the challenge or has a question, everyone's learning together. So you're each advancing, and it may be something you haven't encountered, and it'll save you those hardships and those challenges. But you'll receive insurance updates and alert notices during your time in the club. Anything that comes through, any situations or scenarios that she knows about. For instance, certain carriers may be targeting claims to audit or review or delay because they're coded a certain way or they're missing certain items, and she can alert people to that, or certain industry changes that might be occurring. So again, you're learning from one another, you're getting the updates as soon as possible, and her goal is always to make it as easy for you to put money in the bank, and she'll teach you the techniques to help you to do that, to open the doors for referrals, for billing the various types of insurance claims so that you can be paid well. And and have a lucrative practice. But again, you're learning what pitfalls to avoid. You're learning through all her years of expertise. You'll be learning from one another, and you'll be working together to prosper and advance all of us. And so she's doing this at an amazing price as an introductory special, 3 months membership for only $20 a month. And so that'll start in March. I believe March 7th is the target date. And again, it'll be a bi-monthly group call. She'll be sending out an email and details to everyone that's on the call. So if you want to get involved, you can either pay $20 a month for that 3-month period, or you can pay one lump amount of $60. So for less than what many of you are paying for a massage or being paid for a massage, you'll get expertise advice that $60 investment can just multiply 100-fold over in what you can be reimbursed in learning how to do the referrals, the right type of billing, the pitfalls to avoid. So I would encourage you, when you get this email, to respond, be in contact, and get into this exclusive membership group that's going to help you learn more and earn more with an easy button method that's never been out there before. And Vivian is the expert in our industry, and she stays up to date. She scours over the internet. She reads all these boring updates and legal details that come out from attorney contacts, from adjuster contacts, from investigator contacts that she's developed in the industry over all these many years. So I encourage you to get involved. I wish it was something that was out there when I first began to practice many years ago, that a $20 a month,
what do I wish it was?
Membership would have been a blessing instead of, doing it the hard way. She's making it the easy way, and she's also allowing all of us to begin to network and work together instead of struggling out there alone in your solo practice, that you'll have a group to help one another. So, that's certainly something that's worth looking into, and exciting news for March 2018.
Wow, thank you, Leah. It brought something to my mind when you were saying that. I wanted to, one of the things that I hear all the time, or I read all the time on Facebook, insurance billing is not worth it. If you see one person saying, I want to bill insurance, and they're excited, they'll see 4 or 5 people coming at them like, you don't want to do that. Insurance billing sucks. I'll never do that again. And they go on and they go on, and they discourage the poor person that's trying to figure out how to help more people and make a little extra money. If you only made $1,000 extra a month, can you think of something you would do with that? What if you only made an extra $500 a month and you only had to see one patient to do that? Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be nice to have that little extra money instead of having to figure out where you're going to get that extra for a patient? If you saw one patient and you saw them 3 times a week and you saw them for a month, that's an easy $1,000 to $1,200 extra a month. One person taking it the easy way by auto or workers' compensation. And people say, well, how do I get the auto accident cases? Hey, once you start doing it, you'll hear everybody. Your ears will perk up, and you'll hear the word auto accident case from 5 miles away. Well, maybe not that far. You start, but you need to be careful what you say. Don't have to say, oh my God, oh goody, I got another opportunity. You're there to help the people. You're there to make them feel better. I will tell you right now, in 1979, I was in a rear-end collision, and I had the worst neck and back problem. I thought I was going to die. My kids hated to sit in the back seat because I always had them working on my neck when I'm driving. They laugh about it now, but they were pretty angry then. Anyway, I was going to a chiropractor. I went to 2 different chiropractors, one for my neck, and I would cross the street and go one for my back. And this went on and on for a couple of years. I ran out of benefits. A chiropractor put me to work for him, and he was actually the one that sent me to massage school, thank God. So thank God for that accident in the first place, because I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. But you start thinking about, well, I don't want to bill insurance. And then you have somebody like me telling this story, and probably most of you have a story, or you have somebody that has a story that would have never been helped. I would go to the doctor, and I would go back home, and before I would get home, the pain would start again. Before I was through with 6 months of massage school, I had no pain in my neck or back again, ever. And because of the accident, the doctor put me to work and sent me to massage school for free. So there's so many wonderful benefits for having an accident, but there's many times you can't say that. But when other people are in an accident, they need help, and you be there to be the help for them and make the difference in their life. And if you don't think about money and you just think about helping people, it's amazing how much the money will come to you. And I always say, do what you love and the money will come in automatic. And that's so true. But I'm going to go into the questions now. And Leah, if I go lift this up to go into these questions, will they see that on the screen?
No, they're only seeing what's on my screen, and there's also questions that they're putting in the chat, but I've let them know that, you know, because of time and the commitment and what we had told everyone earlier, that you may not get to any of the questions in the chat, but if they have questions and can keep posting it in there, that we'll be able to go back and you'll be able to answer those either directly one-on-one or in a future webinar that you can cover their question. Because generally when one person has a question, you can bet there's about 1,000 more therapists that have had the very same question.
Right. So what we'll
specific, you know, based on their state and what CPT code they had used and insurance. Say, for example, one with an insurance company that came back and told them they couldn't use the billing code 97140, that they could only use 97124, and they had to return the difference. So those sort of things are specific to a degree related to states or the company, but some of them are a little broader. But, you know, for time purposes, you're probably not going to be able to get to those, plus some of the ones that you still have on your list that weren't covered in the presentation. So those will be able to be covered at a future webinar. Or if they get into the, you know, the private group insurance billing club, they can ask them direct when they're all on an open call and in Facebook private group to one another and learning from each other as well as your expertise.
Okay, well, we have about 30 minutes here yet because we've told them an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do is go through these really quick. If you're on the line, you'll be answered directly. If not, we'll make sure you do get the answers somehow or some way. I'll figure out how to get these frequently asked questions answered so everyone knows what they are, because sooner or later somebody's going to run into the different problems that other people have. So one question is what to say to a representative when calling to get out-of-network benefits for physical medicine and manual therapy. And the representative asked if this is physical therapy, what should we say? You should say it's physical medicine. We are providing physical medicine. It's not physical therapy, okay? We can go into more details, but I want to get all the questions answered that I can. And what to say when they say it's only covered if licensed by a physical therapist is performing the therapy. That question is asked all the time. It depends on what type of case you're accepting. If you're accepting anything but auto and workers' compensation, slip and fall cases, you're going to run into that. If you stick to the auto, workers' compensation, slip and fall cases, I can't think of the word I want to use. It'll come to me.
Well, you're going to have the challenge. You'll have the challenge back against the PTs being in the covered service, but not massage therapists. Right.
And so bottom line is, if you stay away from those other companies, you shouldn't have the problem. If you do, I don't know what to tell you to say right now because I'm trying to hurry. Jim, if you're online, I will get back with you. Another one is, I may be too late with my question, but there's a few blah, blah, blah. Number one, how do I know if my massage techniques are acceptable by insurance companies? All techniques are acceptable by insurance companies. It's a matter of which insurance company that you're dealing with. And again, I say, if you stick with what I say, and if you want to run into a bee's nest or bee's hive or whatever you call it, then go out and do all these other things. If you want to make money and you want to stay on the straight and narrow, stick with your auto, your workers' compensation, and stick with your homeowner's insurance, and stick with things that are easy, like your liability cases. All righty? I built my business to over $500,000 a year, and that was back when the max that I could charge or did charge was like $60. You guys are charging 100, 120, 150, and so you can double that for half the work that I had to do to make what I made. So the next question is, are certain techniques covered, preferred by insurance companies? The technique that you would most often use would be your 97140, which is your manual therapy techniques. It's called manual therapy, and you bill it in 15-minute units. I don't normally do assessments on clients or assessments required. If you're dealing with medical cases, then you need to do an assessment. You need to do a complete evaluation, and that is all of that paper that you do that with, and all that, the proper forms are on that CD I was talking about a little bit ago. If you do that properly, your chances of getting paid are a whole lot better. And again, we can go over more of that at another date and time, but assessment is definitely necessary. If required, where can I learn acceptable assessment techniques? Assessment techniques. I'm going to leave that one for now, okay, because I don't want to have to think. I want to move ahead and get everybody's questions answered. How do massage therapists justify a higher bill to insurance companies versus cash paying clients? And I just explained that a little while ago. You have your medically prescribed, and remember the whole ball of yarn that has all of the different costs of doing business in it that I spoke of before. What makes the work of an LMT? What makes the work of an LMT does with an insurance client different than what is done by a cash-paying client? And that's a good question. A lot of people ask that. You may do the same type of work. You may do the same exact kind of treatment on a cash-paying client as you do an insurance case, but your insurance incorporates a whole ball of wax or a whole ball of yarn of all these different things that are involved. It's being medical. It's being required to do documentation. It's being required to get proper recognition, acknowledgement. It's the whole ball of wax, is the way I like to say it, of different things that's required for doing medical than just doing a cash-paying client. I've got to go to a different page now for the rest, and let me pull that up in a second here. All right, here's another one. How do I market my medical massage practice and get more clients and hire therapists that make great money? This would come under it says this would come under marketing, and today, because so many insurance companies question to cover, we'll put this one on. How do I market my medical massage practice and get more clients? The most important thing when you're doing that, once you become professional at it and you've got your files and folders set up properly, you've got your prescription form, and you know the rules and regulations and all the information which is in the manual that is on my website. What's my website, Leah? I forgot.
MassageInsuranceBilling.com.
You go there and everything is there. But anyway, this would come under marketing, and today, because so many insurance questions to cover, we'll put this one on. Let's see. Anyway.
But there are lots of marketing.
They're talking about marketing, and we're not really getting into marketing today, but since there were so many insurance questions. But there's another question here, and if I'm missing you and you're online and you're hearing this, don't be afraid to send me an email back, and I'll answer that. And send it to Vivian Mahoney at Yahoo. No. Let me see. I got so many, I don't know which is which. Send it to Vivian Mahoney at, is this right? Yahoo.com. I'm going nuts here. I think it's Vivian Mahoney at Yahoo.com. I'm an LMT in Florida and curious about how to bill insurance for services in my state. Well, I was from Florida too, Kathleen, and everything I learned was about billing insurance in Florida, and then I had to expand through the country because I was teaching all over the country. But if you follow the rules and regulations as I teach them, the only thing with Florida that's different is the fact that they can't take auto insurance anymore, because we had to dingbat governor, excuse me, I hope he's listening, that decided that in order to look good in somebody else's eyes, he got rid of massage therapists as far as being able to bill auto insurance. So as far as anything else, you got your workers' compensation, you have some health policies in Florida do cover us, and we can go into more of that later. But then we have the next question is, my question would be, do I need to be under specific doctor's referral to do any type of insurance billing, and would I need to be in-house, a group NPI, or independently billed with another referring physician? Holy moly, you guys are really asking questions. My question would be, do I need to be under a specific doctor referral to do? You have to have a prescription written by the physician, and then you can do, you don't have to be in the physician's office. You can be outside on your own as long as you have a prescription from the physician indicating what the procedures and modalities are, what the diagnosis is, and then you would relate that to your procedures and modalities. You have to have an NPI number nowadays, and I hope everybody knows how to get that NPI number. Leah, you want to tell them how to get it?
You could probably send out an email or put a bulletin out to give them the one-on-one directions instead of them trying to capture it all now.
All right, cool. What types of insurance businesses are best to contact to be listed under to get the best rate? We don't get listed under any specific insurance company. We accept auto, workers' compensation, and slip and fall cases, and those type of cases, which is easy. And again, I'll go back to this. You can take all these other kind of cases that are out there. Every single one wants a different bit of information, or they require something different. I always ask, do you want to be a big shot and say, I bill all these insurance companies, or do you want to make it easy and put the money in the bank? That's as simple as I can make it. I was billing upwards of $500,000 a month, and I did it strictly with auto, workers' compensation, slip and fall cases. That was it. I had a few health policies, but only when I billed once to see if they paid. I billed it the next time, testing the waters. And after I billed it 3 or 4 times and I documented everything, every I dotted, every T crossed, where I knew I had to fight to come back and be right with my fight, then I would accept some of these other types of cases. But for the most part, if you stick with what I tell you, eliminate a lot of headaches, put the money in the bank. Isn't that what you really want? Or do you want to be someone that says, oh, I bill all these kind of insurance companies, and I don't get paid? They tell somebody else undercover. So one says, I had an intermediary companies wanted me to work through the $45 per client patient, with still needing to submit the paperwork, 1,500 claim form, to the primary insurance company. That doesn't seem like an efficient use of time or resources for my business, since I have to deal with both companies. Because I'm trying to hurry through this, and I have to concentrate on that one, and I haven't really done it. You had intermediary companies wanting you to work through them for $45 per client patient. First of all, I would say if you didn't have to do a lot of work and you just got the $45, that'd be an excellent deal. But you needed to submit all the paperwork. You had to do all the paperwork yourself, and you had to submit it to the primary companies. Then I don't know why you weren't an independent on your own in the first place and just get a prescription from the physician and work under that prescription. We can discuss this more later. I don't want to leave you in a lurch, but having to deal with both companies, it doesn't look like a fair deal to me. Another one was, I was listed under Anthem Blue Cross Blue Shield as a certified licensed and insured practitioner, and they did not approve me for one single client or patient, stating that their policies are individual as their patients, and they're right, they are. Yet I spent a lot of time qualifying for the program, and it didn't insure business at all. Doesn't that just piss you off? Excuse me, but that would do me, because they tell you something, and then you follow what they say, and it's not correct in the first place. And Anthem Blue Shield is one I would tell everybody, do not go near. Do not even bother with them. There's only 2 states that I know that Blue Cross pays anything to any massage therapist, and that would be Florida, and under certain circumstances only, and state of Washington. So how do we get business working with these insurance agencies without wasting a lot of our precious time? And we can go into that another time. Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to make sure that nobody's left out here. Another question. I'd like to know how to approach physicians, medical facilities, therapy centers with the best way to communicate where they tell me seriously and where they will take me seriously and refer work to me. That's a big question. I'm extremely professional and educated, just not with college degrees backing up all my certifications. I understand that. Anyway, how do you approach physicians and medical facilities? The prescription form that I have that's available to all massage therapists, and that is one of the easiest ways. And we sent a letter out. We created a letter to physicians. It's in my the letter's in the manual, Manipulate Your Future. But we created this letter, and we sent it out to different physicians at different times, and we stuck to the physicians that were the kind of physicians that would be referring to us most likely, like your orthopedic surgeons, your neurologists, your chiropractic physicians. A lot of them are hard to deal with now because they learn how to do things on their own and use a massage therapist for the most part. But they'll take you seriously if you, and I think I was saying, have the prescription form made into prescription pads is one thing, and then have a letter that states that you specialize in this and this and this, and that you would be more than happy to show the physician in person what kind of service you do. You could offer them a complimentary treatment so they know what you do, or you could just send them a letter. You could send them a copy of the prescription to show them what you do. I mean, the prescription form is for any of you and all of you to use. Just do not remove the copyright stuff at the bottom of it. And this is a script we've used for years and years and years. Since 1980, when did I start? 1984, I think it was. Another one is legal to bill under a chiropractor's billing number when a massage is performed by the massage therapist. Absolutely not. Please explain how this is affected by the massage therapist being an employee versus an independent contractor. First of all, as an independent contractor, you're going to be operating only by the prescription from the physician. If you're in the physician's office, you're pretty well going to do as the physician recommends. To bill under their number, though, is not. You have to have your own NPI number, and you have to document it. Whatever you do, you have to document it and sign the documentation for the treatment you provided that day and use your NPI number. And I'm sure I'm missing a lot here, but just be careful of use. I'll give you an example. I just worked a case from January through about April. It was a big, huge, gigantic case. It was a Blue Cross case, and there's a lot I can't tell you about it, but the therapist did. If I could make a list of all the things he did wrong, it would equal to everything every massage therapist I ever worked with did wrong. Put them all together, and he did it all. This, I'm trying to think of the way I wanted to word this. Anyway, the bottom line is just be careful. Make sure you're doing things the right way. If you don't know the right way, my manual has everything in it. It's been used for the last, I don't know, umpteen years. I'm losing track of time anymore. I'm getting old. Anyway, and you have me to ask questions for. I hope and pray that I don't get bombarded with questions like I used to. I want to take a lot of your questions that you've given me here and use them as an FAQ on my website so a lot of people can go and find out the answers. and I'll do a much better job than what I'm doing trying to explain it to you here in kind of a hurry. Please explain some examples of fee splitting within a chiropractic office and how the massage therapist is affected by it long term. Fee splitting. I'm not exactly sure in what format you're meaning fee splitting. That's one I'm going to have to come back to because fee splitting is illegal. But I want to answer you more fully on that, and that's Kathleen Allen. Kathleen, if you're online, I will get back to, in fact, I'll get back to all of these questions and be more detailed, I promise you, and all of you will get a copy of it. Fee splitting is illegal, i.e. Stark Rules, Anti-Rudman Act. And then it says medical cases must be paid in a flat fee, not to charge with the type of cases amount the doctor is or is not paid. And I guess somebody's trying to teach me a lesson here, and they're right. Independent contractor versus employee. Then there's another question. Since insurance billing and electronic medical records have now become the standard, what system or applications do you recommend for filing claims and secure record keeping and sharing of health information? Let me read that again. My mind's getting blank. Since insurance companies' electronic medical records have now become standard, what systems or applications do you recommend for filing claims for secure record keeping and sharing? I'm not exactly sure, James, what you mean, what systems. I made a note.
Like the Island software is what they're asking. What program? And then there's also the other version that's accessible for billing claims electronically.
Right, and you can bill claims electronically with the Island software program. That's the only one I recommended all these years because I know the guys inside out and upside down. Maybe they wouldn't like me to tell them that, telling them. At any rate, bottom line is these guys are phenomenal. They've been doing this for years on end. They keep upgrading their program. It's called the Island Software Record Keeping and Billing Program, and it's on my website, by the way. And I think my price is lower than they're charging right now because I forgot to change it. But you can take a look at it. All the information's there on it. There's a lot of others. They've come and gone, and I don't want to be with somebody that comes and goes. If this company goes out, I guarantee it'll be in good hands before they do leave us. Melissa Ryan.
And again, that's on your website. They can find any of that on the website.
Thank you, Leah. Melissa Ryan, what can be done if you call an insurance and get approval to provide 97140 and 124, specifically stated working independently of a chiro or PT and out of network? I do my intake and immediately begin submitting claims. 3 to 4 weeks later, after having provided several treatments, insurance then denies the claim. This is not fair to me or the patient. Absolutely isn't. So let me go back over the question. If you call an insurance company and get approval to provide those codes, okay, number one, was it made clear to the adjuster at the time that you were a licensed massage therapist? Because some of us try to skip over that. I know I did it myself and not tell, and I would document everything, and then I have something to come back with. So be careful that they do know what kind of a provider you are when you ask that, and specifically stating working independently from a chiro or a PT and out of network. And I'm going to tell you that the most people that run in that kind of a problem are doing health insurance rather than sticking to your auto, workers' comp, your slip and fall cases, and your I forgot the other one I was saying a while ago. I'm sorry.
Spending.
Spending. Yes, thank you, Leah. So if you're careful, and another thing too, if you're absolutely not sure, if it's not auto, it's not workers' comp, it's not a slip and fall liability type case, if it's not the, what did you just call it, Leah?
Flex spending.
Flex spending, it's not those kind of cases. If it's a medical case from a medical insurance, what you want to do is bill it and wait until you get paid the first time, or let the patient know that they're going to be responsible in between time for the payment, that if you don't get paid on the first one, just eat that loss, but have them pay the others. And then if you're paid, don't ever trust that the first time you're paid it's going to be great, because they might catch it later. But the more you keep all your documentation in order, and that you have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed, and you're careful that everything is in order like I teach it in the manual, then your chances of having them come after you for doing something wrong will be so slim. So again, if that sounds to me like it was a type of case that was a health insurance type of policy. So I always say, do you want to show that you can do so much more, or do you want to get paid? Which is the most important to you? And you may have less clients by taking only those particular ones that are your slip and fall and your auto and on workers' comp and all that. You may have less clients, but you'll have more quality clients and a whole lot less headaches, and you'll get paid a whole lot easier. You put the money in the bank, you're happy, the patient's happy, doctor's happy because you're having success with his patient, because that's important to the physician for you to get referrals. You don't get the patient treated right, or you don't get paid, and you start having a whining and crying problems, physician's not going to refer any more patients to you. So here's another one. Do I need to register with individual insurance companies? Oh my God, no, no, no. Save your time and save your energy. When you're dealing with auto and workers' comp and slip and fall cases, you already have those insurance companies at hand. There's usually for auto, they already filled out a report before they can even come to you. Workers' compensation, all of those are already pretty well intact and you're safe. So don't waste your time. All you're doing is raising red flags to the insurance company. Say, here they come again. Here's those massage therapists. Let's find a way to get rid of them. So what codes are accepted for massage? There's a lot of codes that you can use, but I'm going to keep it simple for you. If you're just doing basic massage and you don't know any of the alternative techniques like deep tissue therapy, you don't know, Leah, help me out. Give me some of the techniques that people use. My mind's running short here.
Deep tissue, neuromuscular, massage cupping.
Yeah, you're using these kind of treatments, then you would bill your basic fee. Your basic code would be your 97140. It's pretty much all inclusive. That covers a lot of different things. If you're just doing basic Swedish massage, nothing more, and you don't document anymore, then you use 97140. And I'm trying to tell you this.
124, 97124 for Swedish.
God bless you. What did I say? 140, didn't I? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thanks, Leah. Do I need a doctor's referral? If you're going to bill insurance, absolutely, because anytime you bill insurance, it has to be medically necessary, and the only way to prove medical necessity is a prescription from the physician. The next question is, do I have to be affiliated with a hospital? Absolutely not. In fact, some therapists are going in hospitals and they're doing the treatment, and I really don't know how that's working, and if anybody does, please let me know. And then the number 7 of hers is, are there additional fees that we pay as an LMT to accept insurance for payment? No. If anybody asks you for extra fees in order to bill insurance, that's illegal too. And then there's another one from Jen. Are there possible contracts with insurance billing that would require an LMT to be credentialed independently other than a simple NPI for an employer to bill for the session? In other words, can an employer bill insurance with your NPI across the board when I have treated the client? They cannot bill and use your NPI. You have to use your own NPI and do your own billing in those cases without the LMT ever credentialing themselves. You don't have to be credentialed in anything at this point in time in order to bill insurance. So you don't have to be credentialed. All you have to do is know the rules and what makes it simple and makes it correct. I hope that makes sense. And Jen, if it's not enough, just email me back and I'll get that answer to you in a better format. How do our credentials transfer between states? As if we move to outside, it's not your credentials. If you're a massage therapist in the state of Florida and you're billing insurance is going to be pretty much anywhere. But your credentials will be your licensing, and that has to come under the state that you're in. You can't transfer you can't go and get a license from Florida and transfer, and in my case in Tennessee, I had to go through the Board of Massage and get a whole new license for Tennessee. If I went to another state, I have to do the same thing. But your insurance process is pretty much the same, almost the same in every state. The basics is the same. There may be different rules here and there and now and then for your state, but the basics is the same everywhere you go. Any tips on the potential transition and dealing with insurance billing? Any tips on that potential transition? No, you're just following the same rules and regulations as we're teaching here, and it's in the manual that I've got and I'm telling you about that does have and I hate to push the manual. My husband was good at that because he's an outsider and he could tell everybody the importance. I have a hard time teaching people why what I have is important. It's important because I worked my way through it one little tiny pebble stone at a time till I learned everything the hard way, and then it's all in the manual, so I didn't have to tell everybody every little thing individually. It's there, every detail. And if you have a question that's not there, you can always email me, and I'll do my best to answer or find the answer for you. Is the NPI valid across all the country? Yes, your NPI, National Provider Identification Number, is valid anywhere you go. It's you, and it's attached to your Social Security number. And then there's another one. As a mobile massage therapist, how do you get information from people to find out if their insurance pays? Well, if you have the proper paperwork and they're interested, you have to have them fill out the proper paperwork. And those forms are all in my manual, and they also come on a CD that comes with the manual so that you can print them out. And these are the same forms basically. I've upgraded them and made them look a little better, but they're pretty much the same forms we used from day one that we got so many compliments from insurance companies and attorneys. They work, they're simple, and what else can I say? That does it. And why most another one is why most insurance companies, if not all, don't cover massage other than from auto accidents with liens. Well, you don't always have to have a lien with an auto accident. In the states that, let me put it this way, some states are, you can bill auto and you bill directly. And in other states, you have to bill the party at fault. Like I lived in Florida, it's a no-fault state. It doesn't matter who's at fault. I could bill the patient's insurance that came to me. I live in Tennessee now, and if the patient comes to me and have an auto accident, I have to, number one, find out if they have an attorney and what the attorney wants me to do, and then I have to bill the insurance company that was at fault rather than the patient's own insurance. And so don't know if I answered that thoroughly or not, why most insurance companies, if not all, don't cover massage. And let me put it this way, they all cover massage. They all cover manual therapy techniques. Every single insurance company does. What they don't cover is who provides it at times. And that's where we come in to try to help you find out who provides. And the reason I tell you to stick with auto, workers' comp, slip and fall, those type of cases, because they don't limit who can bill like they do in your other kinds of your health insurance policies. There's about, as I said before, there's about as many health insurance policies as there are people almost. Okay, here's another one. Leah, I can't say your last name, Leah, I'm sorry. I've heard that TRICARE is, here's one I need your help on or somebody else's because I don't know this answer. I have heard that TRICARE is becoming TriWest and that they're now allowing LMTs to be in-network providers to help our veterans. What information can you give us about that? Leah, I don't know, but I guarantee you I'll be working on it to find out because that sounds exciting. I'm leery about it because every time I've found something like this and I got so excited, it would be a monkey in the, what do they call it, a monkey wrench in the soup there somewhere. That's not how that goes, but at any rate, I'll try to find this out for you. And if anybody on the call today has any information on that, please email me and let me know because we want to help everybody with any question. And Anthony,
okay, this is where, Vivian, after this one, it's coming up on 4 o'clock, and I know people have other things to do. We don't want to take up their entire afternoon, but just remember, everyone, this is one of the benefits of getting into the massage insurance group with Vivian, is that these same types of calls will be going on each month, the same type questions that you're having, that we're kind of learning from one another in the call, that those will be the type of questions that were being shared into the private Facebook group that can be answered direct, or things that we learn, like the Try West piece, that she can get a heads up on, and she'll do all the research and digging to help save all of us from having to do it, and can share it with those alerts and news updates. So those that are on the call and those that have dropped off are going to receive the information. It's not going to go out public to everyone else for this initial introductory special for everyone to join in and get into this group. It'll be a 3-month group. So I'd encourage you to look for that email when it comes. And, if you just want to take a couple more calls, Vivian, and then we'll wind up so everyone can enjoy the rest of their Saturday.
Okay, Leah, thank you for that. Okay, Anthony, I would be new to this aspect, but can anyone with insurance claim massages? Anyone with insurance? No, Anthony, I just went over that. The best kind. Let's say you have just a health policy. It would depend on how that health policy was written. And I don't have time, of course, to go through everybody's individual health policy, but if you stick to the ones I mentioned, auto, workers' comp, slip and fall, those kind of cases are pretty much everywhere, anywhere, except the auto in the state of Florida. Yo-yos. How can I find out what the specific from my state, Illinois? How can I find out what the specifics on my state of Illinois? I wish you'd have came to my seminars. I did 3 in Illinois and covered a lot of that, but I'll get back to some of that at another time. I am so sorry I can't go into that right now. 2 of my clients. Okay, here's one. 2 of my clients are on a special program because of their disabilities allows them to walk in off the street. Price for their massage since it isn't insurance billing. It's just a program run by the state. Due to issues in running the program, they could be forced to get their massage through Medicaid in the next month, and I'm not sure about that because I have only billed workers' comp and motor vehicle accidents. And I understand that Medicaid would be billed, but I'm not sure if you can charge a different rate for it or if it would be the same rate as motor vehicle accidents. I'm going to tell you right now, we're on the fee schedule. You have to, whatever you charge for your fees for medically, I call it medically related. You got a medically related prescribed case. Your fees need to be the same. Don't change it for whatever type of case you have. Let's say workers' comp will only pay you so much for manual therapy techniques, and then you've got auto might pay you a whole lot more. But you can't do that. You have to keep your fees the same. Whatever your fees are for your medically prescribed are your fees for everything that's prescribed by a physician. So I've read that medical only allows you Medicaid only allows $70 an hour. That blows my mind. I would have given my right arm if anybody just allowed $70 an hour. We were lucky to get 24. And I charged $41.25 per unit. And that's a little on the high side. I forgot your name here. Jan, it's a little on the high side, but some areas of the country are doing that, and they seem to be working their way into that fee pretty well. We always kept it in the 30, 36, 38 range. Right now, their price is $60 an hour, so maybe I would have to adjust my rates if I wanted to continue with their massages. So you charge $41.25 a unit, and they only pay you, what did you say, $70 for the hour? You charge what you always charge. It's up to the insurance company to adjust that rate. So if you charge your fee, and that's your set fee, and you've got it posted in your office, and that's your basic, general, all-around fee for medically prescribed, be sure you have some kind of indication that's available to the patients, either on the wall or a pamphlet that you give out that indicates what your fees are for different situations, like for medically prescribed or for walk-in or for a specific type of treatment like reflexology, and you have that all printed out. Then you're safe because you don't want to have an insurance company come down your neck afterwards and say, well, you charge this higher rate for this and you don't have any proof of why you did that. So right now their price is $60 an hour, you say, so maybe you'd have to adjust your rates. Keep your rates what they are, accept what they give you, because you know that's all they're going to give you, okay? And by keeping your rates at the regular rate, you're much more likely to help us raise the rates in the industry in the future. I wish I could answer the rest of these right now. There's only a couple. There's a few more. I'm so glad you all sent these questions in. It's exciting, and I'm happy, and I'll try to get these answered to you individually or do it as a whole document and send them to you. And I may end up putting a lot of these on my website so everybody can have them in the future. And I thank you for your participation and sharing all these questions. I am so sorry I can't get to all of them. And there's a couple in here I really don't know the answers to, and I have to check them out for you. But I promise you, when you get an answer from me, it'll be as accurate as it can be. All right? I thank you. It feels so weird to talk to the computer here and not seeing you in face-to-face. I love you all. I appreciate you all for being here. And use the email Vivian Mahoney at yahoo.com. Is that right, Leah? I forgot my own email now. Vivian Mahoney. Oh, God. What was the other one I got? The brand new one. Anyway.
No, that's the good one.
I'll send it to y'all. I just can't think right now. I'm done. Thanks so much.
You can always find Vivian's contact information on her website, massageinsurancebilling.com. You can also connect with her in Facebook, and we really appreciate everyone being here, and you've been a great group, and we appreciate you having the patience to help us overcome the initial challenges of this new program, and look forward to answering your questions and hopefully connecting with you in the Massage Insurance Billing group. So have a super Saturday, everyone, and make the best and get out and earn a great living. Thank you.
Thank you all so very much. I appreciate you more than you ever know. Thanks a million.